Hello everybody, this is Kay and welcome to my channel, Junking with Gigi. I have a project to share with you today, and this is kind of a quick little fun project. These are kind of over the page pockets with a hidden paper clip, and I've made them in two different sizes, and this is a good project for using up some of those 6x6 and 8x8 papers that you might have on hand. I know I have quite a few. This one I got from Hobby Lobby is a 6x6. This is also a 6x6. I picked this up for 50 cents at a thrift store, and then I have a couple of 8x8s, and it just seems like I've had these for a really long time and I'm not using them up, so I'm trying to work on using stuff up. But basically what you do with these is, I'm going to grab a journal that I'm currently working on here, find a page, is you've got a little pocket here in the back with another little tuck spot in the front and a little fold over the top, which you can put over the top of your page, and this is a hidden paper clip to hold it on with. So that is the project I'm going to share with you today. I've got it made in two different sizes, and I'm going to make one in each size, but what I have done is I've written out the cuts and the folds for each side. So I'm going to clear off my workspace now and get my supplies ready, and I'm going to make one out of an 8x8 and one out of a 6x6, and the thing I like about this project is that I'm using up every scrap of that 8x8 and that 6x6. I'm going to start by making the larger one out of an 8x8, but before I get started, real quick, I wanted to also mention another channel, and it's called LaNae Creates. She's very creative and has a lot of great ideas. I get a lot of inspiration from her videos and her channel, so I will link her channel below, but I wanted to give her credit for giving me the inspiration for this project. I have changed it up a little bit and made it my own. We all kind of do that, I think, with project ideas here on YouTube, so that's what I'm going to share with you today. Okay, so for the sake of time, I've already cut my pieces, but this is the, I'm going to hold this here in case you want to take a screenshot. I have put the cuts and the folds on here for the 8x8, and then on the other side I have the 6x6 cut sizes and folds. But basically you're going to cut first. You're going to cut a 5x8 and a 5x1.5 and a 5.5 by 1.5. And so we're going to start with that first cut piece, the 5x8. That's what makes your main pocket. I'm going to set that over there. And for this part I am going to grab my little mini scoreboard. So as you can see over here, you're going to fold at 2 inches for the pocket and fold at 1 inch for that top fold over. So you need to decide, first of all, which side of the page you're going to use. If you have a double-sided piece of cardstock, I want to use this. I want this to be my pocket. So basically this is going to fold up 2 inches. So I am going to score this at 2 inches right there, and that's going to fold up and be my pocket, and this is going to be my fold over for my little clip over the page, so I'm going to score it at 1 inch, and that's all I need my scoreboard for. And you don't need a scoreboard, I have that and I like to use it. It makes nice straight folds or scores for me to fold by. And so the pocket gets folded up, the top over the page part gets folded to the back, and I'm going to grab my bone folder here and just make those folds nice and crisp. Okay, so there's the base for our project. Now the one piece that is 5 by 1.5, that's going to be our tuck spot. And so we're going to be putting that on the front of this pocket. But before we glue anything down, I want to put some notches in here, some thumb notches. So for that, I'm going to grab my envelope punch board. And you don't have to make notches, or you can use a circle punch. You can use anything you want, but I really like the shape that this notcher gives the pockets. It gives it the shape like this. This is an envelope punch board. It's by We Are Memory Keepers, and I really like to use it to punch notches. So since I have a 5-inch piece here, what I'm going to do is line this up at 2.5 over here and make my notch. And I'm going to also put a notch in the tuck spot at 2.5, like so. Okay, I'm done with that. So that folds up to make our pocket, and that gets glued on the front to make our tuck spot. Now, if you're an inker, now is the time to do the inking before you glue anything down. So I'm going to grab my Distress Oxide and Vintage Photo, and I'm going to ink all around the tuck spot. I'm going to ink the edges. You don't have to ink this crease because it won't show, but I like to ink my creases and all my edges. One last thing before I go on with my inking. I forgot a step. These two corners, I like to round them. So I'm going to use this smallest corner round punch. I think it's like a 4mm punch on my little corner rounder. While I have my punch in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and round the corners of this 5.5 by 1.5 inch piece. This is going to be our hidden paper clip, and I like to round those corners as well. So I'm going to round all of those 4 corners. And now I'm going to do my inking. Everything is inked, and now I'm going to glue down my pocket. I'm using my Mono Aqua glue today. I put it in this Sugar Bell bottle. I guess it's a frosting bottle for cake decorating, but it works real good with this particular glue. I like this glue. The art glitter glue is my favorite, but honestly, it's in the other room right now, and I don't want to get up and go get it because I'm into this video, so I'm just going to use this. I always have glue seepage. I don't know how other people do it without the glue seepage, but so you just glue down the 2 sides for that fold-up pocket, but for your tuck spot, you have to put glue on. Obviously, you're going to put it on all 3 sides. Here, the bottom, and the other side. Pocket and tuck spot are glued. I'm going to set that aside for a minute, and I'm going to show you how to make this little hidden paper clip. Now, I wanted to give credit to Tracie Fox for teaching me on one of her videos how to make these hidden paper clips like this. It's a really fun way. It's my favorite way of making them now, and I will link her channel below if you haven't watched any of Tracie's videos. She's an awesome creator, very talented. So I'll link her channel below, but what you want to start with for your hidden paper clip for this one is this 5.5 by 1.5 inch piece, and I rounded the corners, and I also inked it on this side because this is the side that's going to show, and that's the side that you want to fold to the middle, and we're going to start by folding it in half with that side on the inside, and I'm just getting these edges even. Going to grab my bone folder and make a good crease there. Okay, so you have the side that will show is in the middle. Okay, And then you take a paper clip. Now this is, I guess, a regular size paper clip. It's just a little over an inch long. And you're gonna slip it over that folded edge. Just try to get it about in the middle. And then what you wanna do is you wanna take the longer of the two sides. So we'll start here, and we're gonna fold this up so that it comes to all the way to the end of that long side of that paper clip, and then get your sides even and make a good crease there. Okay, then you flip it over and you're going to take this other side up just to meet it at the top. And fold it and crease it. And now you can take your glue, and I always start with the long side again. That's just, I'm in a habit of doing that. I don't know that this part really matters because you're just gluing it down. But I also just glue one side down at a time. I guess you could do it all at once, but I take my time because sometimes if I get in a hurry, I make mistakes. I don't know if that happens to you, but it happens to me. If I'm in a hurry to finish something, or I get in a hurry to do something, very often I'll end up making a mistake and messing something up. So I like to take my time. Okay, so I've got that long side glued down there, and now I'm just going to put glue all over the other side. And the first few times I made this, I kind of panicked a little because I thought I was gluing the whole thing shut. But this is actually the paper clip side, which stays open. So, no need to panic. So I'm going to put glue all over this side. And I like to dab a little on the paper clip itself as well. And close that up. And this glue takes a minute to set. So I'm gonna sit here and just kind of hold it and squeeze it and hold it and squeeze it for a few minutes until that glue is set in place. While that glue is drying on those other two pieces, we'll just make this little mini notepad real quick. These are the last two pieces left from the 8x8, and I also added a few pages here to make a little mini notepad. So basically what I'm gonna do here is decide, okay, this will be the front of my notepad because it's got the word love there, so I kind of want that to show. And I think I will have this be the back piece. So you can see this one's a 1/2 inch longer, and I'm basically just gonna line those up and fold that piece over the shorter piece, like so. Okay, and then I've pulled out a little scrap strip of paper here. This is the same paper I used on these other ones that I made. And I'm just going to tear 3 or 4 pieces. This just happens to be the same width, or top to bottom. So I'm just gonna take this as my guide and use my tear ruler here and just tear a few little scraps for this notepad. 3 or 4, I think I used 3 on the other ones. So to construct my notepad, I'm just going to put the cover on top of my 3 little scraps, get my back piece and put it over the top, get it as even as I can, and I'm just going to take, you can use any stapler, but I happen to have one of these little mini staplers by Tim Holtz, and it's so fun to use on little mini projects, and I'm just going to put one staple there, and there's my little mini notepad. I'm gonna add a little bit of ink. I should have done this before I put it together. It's always, I feel like it's often, maybe not always, but often it's a lot easier to do the inking if you're an inker before you put things together, but I forgot to do that, so I'll do it now, okay? So there's our little notepad. All right, so we have our hidden paper clip, which isn't quite done yet. I mean, it can be done. It's good enough just like that. You can put it either way. It's good enough just like this, but what I did on my other ones was I added a little eyelet and a little link chain to it, and I want to do something similar to this too. So I'm going to get out my crocodile here, and I have a little cup full of eyelets. Let me see what would go good with this one. I think I'll use, I have some brown in here, I'll do that. And this one I put off to the side. You can put it in the middle, you can put it wherever you want. I kind of like putting it off to the side. I think that looks neat. And that way, if it isn't exactly in the middle, you don't have to worry about it because it looks like you purposely put it off to the side. It's a little trick, I guess. Okay, so this is one of those smaller eyelets, so I used my smaller hole punch. And now I'm just going to pop that in there. And chomp it down. There we have it. For the little tab, we don't have to put anything on the top of your paper clip like I said before, but you can put whatever you want. On this one I put a little chain link. On the two small ones I made, I actually put a little piece of tulle. I don't know if you can see that. And I just think that looks real sweet. But for this one, I think I'll just use this little piece of jute or hemp twine that I have, and I'm gonna feed the loop through there. And then pull the ends through the loop, like so. You can leave them long, you can trim them short. You can do whatever you want. This is your project. But also what I like to do is, and what I did on all these other ones, was I just tucked in a little piece of journaling paper. I'm going to do the same thing here to that back bigger pocket. And I've got a couple of little craft card tags. These are just simple little tags that I stamped on and put a little bit of twine on the top. And then you have your little mini notepad. And then you have your hidden paper clip. And then you can just attach to the top of any page. You can, and another thing that I wanted to mention was you could fold this way as well and just paper clip it over the top of the page like so, if you like that look better. My vision, what I had in mind, was to have this folded over the top of the page going the other direction like this, and adding my paper clip. But you can do whatever you want. It's your project. Keep in mind that this is going to stick up above a little bit. So here's that other one I did. You know, if you don't mind that happening. If you do, what your options are is you can also put your hidden paper clip on the side, or you could add this to a shorter page. Sometimes in some of my journals, I have pages that are shorter than other pages. So if this were attached here instead of a tall page, it wouldn't stick out the top as nearly as much, or even at all. So you have that option as well. But isn't that a cute little project? They really come together pretty quickly, and they are so fun to make. So now I'm going to get stuff together, and we're going to move on to the smaller one, which is all the same. It's just that the mesh cuts and the measurements and the folds are a little bit different. So let me clear this off and get ready for that 6x6 page. Here are the cuts and the folds for the 6x6. If you use a 6x6 to make this project, I'll hold this here for a second if you want to screenshot that. But I'm going to try and hurry through this one a little bit quicker for time's sake. I've already got my pieces cut. I'm going to once again grab my scoreboard. This time I'm going to cut, or I'm going to fold at 1 3/4 for the pocket and a 1/2 inch for that top flap. So I'm going to decide which one I want my pocket to be. Right there, I'm going to score at 1 3/4. I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch on the other side, which is going to be that top fold. Put that away. Fold this up. Fold that back. Since this is a single-sided paper, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to distress this white space a little, just because I don't want that stark whiteness. So I'm going to distress this. I don't have to go all the way down because the pocket's going to cover that up. Alright. I'm going to grab my envelope punch board, and since this is a 4-inch piece, I just need to line it up at the 2-inch mark there. Boom. I'm going to grab my little 4x1, which is my tuck spot, and I'm going to punch it at 2 inches, line it up at 2 inches and punch it. I'm going to get my corner rounder, and I'm going to round the top 2 corners of this where it folds over. I'm going to round the piece that I'll be using for my hidden paper clip. Okay, get rid of this, get rid of this. Do all my inking. I got the inking done, and I'm going to glue down my pocket and my tuck spot now. I'm going to make my hidden paper clip here. So this is the side I want to show. So I'm going to fold that in half with that on the inside. Add my paper clip to the folded end. On my long side. Oh, I'm not ready for glue yet. What am I doing? Fold it up to the edge of the paper clip, and you kind of have to get your sides even at the same time, like so. Fold the other side up to meet it. And glue that all down. After making the pocket and the paper clip, these are the 2 pieces that I had left. So this is the part I did a little bit differently. So I had a 1-inch by 2-inch piece, and basically I just rounded the corners and inked this, and I'm just going to put that in this front tuck spot just like that as a tiny little journal spot or whatever. But I still have this 1-inch piece left, and I figured out what to do with it so that I could say I used every piece from this 6x6. And I went to my die cuts and I found a couple of little flower dies, and I'm gonna take one of these to my die cutting machine real quick and cut it out, and then I'll show you what I did with the piece from there. So I cut out a little flower, and so I have a flower petal and I have a little stencil, and I'll show you what I did with those on my other piece. I took this piece, which is right here from my other one, and I used it as a stencil with some pink ink to kind of stencil on that background, and then I just glued that little flower down as a little extra something. And that's how I can make claim to the fact of using every little piece of this 6x6, even though this piece didn't get stuck down anywhere, isn't a permanent part of the project, it still got used, and that's what I'm gonna do with this piece as well. So I'm gonna take this piece. This time I'm not gonna use pink on this because I just don't want to. I'm just gonna use my vintage photo, and I'm gonna put a few little random stencils, let me get a piece of scrap paper here, on the background of this little pocket. So I'm just gonna kind of hold that in place, and I'm gonna use one of these little kind of makeup brushes to do this with. And it doesn't have to be real dark, see how subtle that is, but it really adds a little something, I think, to the background of this pocket. Glue this little flower down to the background here. Add a little orange eyelet to my paper clip. I think I will go ahead and try to get this one kind of in the middle. Got to use a small hole. I'm just eyeballing it though. Pop that in there. So I have that on there. For this one, I have a little piece of a little journaling spot to tuck in that back pocket. I've got another one of my little brown craft tags. We can put it in either spot, really. Kind of fits better in the pocket. And then I have this little scrap, which just made a little journaling spot. You can tuck all kinds of things into these two little pockets. And then we have our hidden paper clip to hold it into our journal. And on this one, I just put a little orange eyelet and tied in a little piece of some cream colored ribbon for this one. And that is all for today's video, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've gotten some inspiration and ideas from this. I ask that you subscribe to my channel if you like what you've seen today, if you aren't already subscribed. I will also, if you're a new subscriber, want to encourage you to go and watch my other two videos that I have so far on my 1,000 subscriber giveaway journal that I'm working on. If you subscribe and you make a comment on either of those two videos so far, and there's another one coming on the construction of this, I'll put your name into a drawing to receive that when I reach 1,000 subscribers. So thank you again for watching today, and God bless.